Welcome to Unhinged Magi! Deck Tech Edition, I guess.
Yeah, to some kind of extent, the deck tech. I mean, I used to do them all the time on Edwin the Magic Engineer channel.
Okay.
We've never done... Did we ever do one on Unhinged Magi?
No, we played cards on
We did play cards on Unhinged Magi.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, so yeah, we actually have a deck tech here today, and it's actually my dash deck for Flesh and Blood.
Yep.
And I'm not going to claim to be like some kind of crazy expert at Flesh and Blood. I feel very confident in my card playing abilities for Magic, because I've done it for years. I definitely play Flesh and Blood, but like, forgive me if I make any kind of mistakes in describing something here, guys, because like there's definitely people much better than me out there. So I'll say that. But this is my dash deck, and I really like this deck, and I want to show you guys why effectively.
Yeah, because he has a crush on Mrs. Dash.
I do. She's pretty hot. She's a mechanologist, and she really wears that gear well, and the way she moves in it just, it just does it. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's go to the down camera and let's show you my crazy mechanologist deck here. Okay, so here's the main deck, and this is the equipment pile, and this is the sideboard. So I can get up to the full 80 card stack, right? So I'll put the sideboard up here for a second. And so I'll first I'll slide things off the table.
Yes.
So the hero is Dash specifically, right? So if you're going to go for the main game, the 40-pointer, then I'll take my little signed Blitz girl here, and I'll put her on the bottom. And the pistol I like is the Teklo Plasma Pistol. And this is actually a cold foil that was given to me by Flukenbox. So really awesome guy when I met him at the first Pro Tour. So that's my favorite weapon there. And I have a couple builds, but I have some cards on the sideboard as well, a different chess piece, but I do like the tunic for my main build. So because the tunic, of course, lets you like every third turn get a pitch resource, right? And I like to be able to defend myself against arcane, be able to hit a little bit harder, and then also get the ability, some boosting extra abilities with the accelerator. So the main thing that I like to go for in this build is like, anyone who follows me knows I used to play like a lot of control decks in Magic. A deck that had kind of like a slow working strategy. As you're going through the game, you kind of build up a board position, and then eventually you get the board state into a position where you can like lock down a win. Well, one thing that I really like about the Mechanologist build is you have these cards, the induction chambers. So if you do this, then you can basically get one of your weapons to have go again. And the way that it works in the game is like you pay for these items and then they stay on the table. So you can, by the end of the game, have many of them. And also the plasma purifiers, if you get these, if you pay for them and get them on the table as like an item, then every time you activate them, your pistol gets one more attack. So this gives it go again and this gives it attack. And so if you have all of this going, all that you need to do effectively is just pitch mana. And if you pitch mana, then you can put steam counters on all these. And then you can have a round where you're like firing off all kinds of damage. You can pump your plasma pistol up to 5 damage a hit and then shoot it 4 times a turn effectively, right? So you could swing 20 points like at the end of it, like if you get all of your setup actually correct. And so that's kind of like the end state I'm working to. And actually I'll mention the drones at the end because they do something really cool. So then the rest of the deck, honestly, I could go into a larger detail about all of the individual Mechanologist attack cards. And for anyone who doesn't know, for our Magic players that watch Flesh and Blood, actually, maybe I should give them a bit of an idea.
You should.
Yeah, every card in Flesh and Blood, one thing that's really awesome about this game is every card is both resource and something that you do. The top right-hand corner says how much energy or resource or pitch mana, whatever you want to call it, it takes to play it. And then on the top left is how much resource you get when you pitch it. So if you discard this, you get only 1. That's what that's indicating. And they mean that by the red strip as well. If you attack with it, that's the attack power is 4. If you use it to defend, you can actually defend with this card. And so it'll defend for 3. So each card is everything. It is your resource. This is what it costs to play it. It gives you resources. You can attack with it and you can defend with it, right? Which is really actually cool. And then cards all have their special abilities and what they do like inside. And so then you also have like 3 different colors of cards. So and all usually it's 3 different colors of the same card. So this one has a yellow and a blue. Yellow always means it pitches for 2. Blue always means it pitches for 3. And so the same card will be printed in different pitch manas. So what they do is they start adjusting its other abilities to make it balance out. So you pitch for a less mana on this one, but it hits harder. If you attack, you hit for 4. You get 3 resource if you pitch this one, but if you attack, you only attack for 3. So they kind of like tried to weave like a balance into like all the cards in the actual game. But all of these cards do have abilities. And these are all Mechanologist cards. I say Mechanologist, which means what my main person actually is. But the reason why I like Dash specifically is because she starts with one of these items in play. And so you could pick like the induction chamber, for instance, and then you could shoot your pistol twice a turn easily, right? Or you could do attacks or blocks. So all these cards, I'll just summarize them really quickly. All these Mechanologist cards here are all here to just basically have attacks. They can all do various forms of attack or pitch mana or like just kind of have the main game plan. So a big portion of this deck is just standard Mechanologist cards, and they do have their own minor abilities. But what I'm effectively doing, like, I'm trying to target a late game plan with this deck. And so if I just end up blocking like with all of my cards like throughout the whole game, and I get to the end game and my opponent is nearly run out of cards, and I'm going to have this board state built up that has the ability to just shoot them in the face really hard, then like they're in a really bad spot. So I don't have to go really aggressive with the deck. I can just play super defensive and try to get to this board state. And then other cards in the deck that are in there, these are cards that are like played as a defense. So like every card can be a defense. You know, you can block for 3 with this one, right? But these ones, you can actually play them as a reaction. So what happens is not part of the normal block step. Like you declare your normal blocks, and then they do something they think is sneaky, and then you pop out with this when they think you didn't have the chance to do any more blocks. So these block reactions, like see how this one can block for 7? You can get some really good block reactions, and the point was that they weren't expecting, right? Which is why I really like having some special blocks that they weren't expecting. You want to have them in there because your opponents will have the ability to do some pretty hard hits in the actual game. Now, these ones are very similar to the first ones I did that were just like typical Mechanologist cards that attack. But these ones are special. Now, I like these because of something that I watched James White do, the drones, right? So let me switch cameras a second so you can actually see our faces and I can talk through this. So we did this game at the Pro Tour, and it was a game where James White was playing against a guy named, I think his name was John.
And if you want to see the video, it's in Unhinged Magi as well.
Yep. And John, like the Rudy card says like you can only play with like PSA graded cards, and if you activate Rudy's ability, then if it's a PSA 10, you know, then you get to like you know do all this extra stuff and all this draw. So
and
this
then
guy,
if you don't, the other people get to.
Yeah, so we thought it was a joke, but then this guy like he actually built an entire deck of PSA graded cards.
He did
with Rudy as the main person, and then they got James White, the creator of the game.
Legal.
It's not tournament legal because the Rudy card is it's a fun card. So then they got James White to enter like a 4-player game, and he was sitting right across from the guy. And so it was a really cool game because the creator of the game playing with someone who actually did the PSA graded Rudy card.
Yep.
And then Rudy was standing right next to him, basically playing the game. And it was kind of fun for me also because the guy John had to leave for a bit, and I actually had to stand in and play his deck for a little bit.
Yeah, he had to leave for a cosplay incident. He had to go help somebody get dressed or undressed.
Yep.
Can't remember.
Fun job. Anyways,
yeah.
So he leaves for a little bit, and then so going back to the drones. So James White was playing his deck, and he had Drones of Brutality in his deck. And the game went so long that the other 2 guys got eliminated, and then it became just John and James White. But James, like, his deck was empty, but he had these drones. And the drones, as you guys, like, know them, like, you don't just, like, lose them. When you pitch them, they go back to the bottom of your deck, so you can draw them again. So James White's deck never, like, ran out. He was like cycling through these drone of brutalities like crazy. And I saw that, and like a spark went off in my head, and I was thinking like, oh my god, that works perfect for Dash, because with Dash, like I build up this board state of like all of these equipment pieces, right? Yeah, all I have to do is defend, and if I don't let them win and I wear them down, and maybe even if I have life gainers in the deck, and that's a strategy I'm still trying to incorporate, if I can wear them out and then get down to this board state where what I basically have now is like my hero, I've got all these equipment pieces and I can swing 20 points a turn, and I'm cycling drones, then I'm never going to run out of cards, and every drone that I'm pitching, it gives me 3 pitch mana. So that's point, 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 there's 1. Point, 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 that's 2. And then this one would like load up like the pistol several times, and then this would just be extra gravy. And so the point is, like, I could basically just blow all these things like every single turn. So like you play them to get all this pitch, you do all this attacking, they go on the bottom of your deck, and then at the end of that turn you draw them again. So you could even like, if they did a big attack, you could go ahead and block with them, so you won't do it that turn. But then any turn they don't come at you really hard, you could just use them to pitch, 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 and then load all your equipment up again. So I can get into a strategy where I'm just sitting here cycling my drones of brutality and then really abusing my equipment pieces that are on the board. So I actually have like a late game plan, and all I have to do is block and survive till the end of that game. So I can play this like a control deck. So I love having that ability, and I loved it that like James was showing me just how amazingly awesome these drones can be. And then the last thing is like you have cards in your sideboard, and if I want to go aggressive with Dash, I can do a Teklo Foundry Heart. And the Teklo Foundry Heart, what it actually does is you could do a thing called boosting with Mechanologist. So if this is what my main chess piece is, right? If I start like that, then what you can do is like say like this is what's in my deck. You can say like, okay, I'm gonna boost, and then you flip over 2 cards, and if for each one like you pay a resource to do the boost, but then every Mechanologist you flip, you get back a boost. So you basically turn 1 resource into 2 resource. And if you, for some reason, you end up flipping over a card that's not a Mechanologist, then it just pays for itself. If you get 2 cards that are not Mechanologist, then you lose 1, right? So what you really want to do is you actually want to hit a lot of Mechanologists. So if I want to go aggressive, I can do the boost technique, because what the boost technique does is like if you attack, right, and then see, where's the cards? Most of them have this ability. Most of them say it for Mechanologist. They say boost right on them, right there. And if you boost, then you do an attack, and then you boost it, then you get a go again. So you get to do like another attack, right? You get another action point. So this, it chews through your deck really fast, but allows you to go very aggressive and just try to crush them at the beginning of the game. So if I go up against like another deck that I think has my defense strategy is not going to work well, I can swap out for my Teklo Foundry Heart, so I can enable my aggressive strategy, and then I'll actually be utilizing all the boosts in all of the Mechanologists. So basically this deck has 2 speeds. I can go very aggressive, or I can go very defensive late game, work the deck all the way down to the drones, and then just keep pounding them with drones, powering up all my equipment. So that's effectively what the deck tech is. That's effectively what I'm going to. So I think that's a really cool strategy. Yeah. I think that's a lot of fun, and it's so fun that even if I play against someone and I lose, I'm enjoying those mechanics so much that it's like I kind of don't even really care. If I go to a tournament and play this and like take last place or something like that, I enjoy trying to set up that mechanic. And so it kind of feels kind of combo-y, kind of control decky a little bit, kind of like they do for Magic a little bit. So I think that's pretty smooth. So I don't know, where are we at here? We're at 14 minutes. I've been babbling for a while.
No, you've been babbling because this is your deck.
That's my Dash deck. Yeah.
Exactly. So there you go. Now you should start playing with this stuff.
Oh yeah, I should definitely start playing with this beautiful gold Spindle's Spring Tunic.
Because you can play with graded cards
that you've got. Boy, that is amazing.
Well, you can also play with this one too.
Yeah, maybe we should go to the down camera and like let people see these beautiful pieces that you've got.
You can play with this too.
Oh yeah, this is one. This is the art shift, right? Oh no, sorry, this is the art shift. This is the normal one.
That's right. That's the first. That's the cold foil.
Yeah. So this is the gold that's
Yeah.
got the art shift. Boy, that is so awesome. What a couple of amazing cards.
This is just the unlimited one.
Oh, just the unlimited one.
Yeah.
That's what I actually have. My unlimited one. It's signed by James White, but you know I don't have any gold or gold foil.
Well, it's a lot. It's special too.
Yeah.
That's right. No. It's signed by James White. That makes it.
Yeah,
special,
a lot of my
for
cards
sure.
are signed by James White.
Sure.
Like I bugged him when we went to the Pro Tours and I got to meet the guy and chat with him. Very cool guy, by the way.
Yeah.
Very cool guy.
But yeah, that's freaking cool.
Yeah. Okay, so thanks guys for enjoying this little Edwin's Flesh and Blood deck tech. And if you like this kind of video, you let us know. Our light just turned off here. Go ahead and
Perfect
put it.
timing. I guess that
Yeah.
means
Yeah,
lights are off.
we're done.
Last call, everyone.
Yeah, last call. Finish your drinks and get out. Okay, everybody. Thanks a lot for attending.
Have a good one, guys.
Bye.